All right, I'm ready. Okay. Resolved that Fisk should above all seek to prepare students for careers. Seek, attempt or desire to obtain or achieve something. Prepare, make someone ready or able to do or deal with something. Career, an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. Being a historically Black college and university, and understanding the history of obstacles Black students face to gain quality education, what would be more important to Fisk than preparing students for careers to be successful? In The Souls of Black Folk, Booker T. Washington says, industrial and common school training were necessarily slow in planting because they had to await the Black teachers trained by higher institutions. So now that we have an institution for Black students after all the oppression that our ancestors faced, Fisk should do its best to create successful Black graduates. Specifically, Fisk holds their students to high standards in their academic and personal lives and have always wanted the best for their graduates. In the spirit of Fisk, Charles S. Johnson said, Adam Spence prayed in every room of Jubilee Hall for the welfare of every occupant. But you cannot escape those prayers, nor the deep commanding faith in you and your personal future that inspired them. Learning what Adam and his wife, Catherine, had done for Fisk students to ensure that they were able to finish college without the burden of their financial situation conveys the commitment he has to his students because he understands that education is a gateway to overcoming the cycle that America has predetermined for them. This shows that Fisk has always wanted their graduates to prosper because they are not only Fiskites, but are mostly Black students. Deciding the right college is always one of the hardest decisions a student has. When students are choosing the right college, they consider different components of the university, such as transfer rate and special partnerships they have to determine if the school is the best fit. Currently, Fisk's transfer rate is 81%. When we look at universities such as Emory, they have programs to ensure that students are prepared for careers like networking days when students can meet with ambassadors from companies. Emory currently has a transfer rate of 24% because they know they are getting the best of their university and care for the futures of their students by getting them involved. Some reasons that make Fisk an eye catcher for certain majors like political science and computer science majors is the partnership with Google and one of the best law firms. These internships have provided students with jobs straight out of college. Computer and data science majors have been granted positions at Google and the National Security Agency because Fisk has received ambassadors from these corporations to inform students of these opportunities. These corporations have also paid for these students to finish school, further helping these students overcome debt. All of this is a result of Fisk preparing students for their careers. Preparing students for careers won't only help students be successful, but it will improve the university as a whole as well. When students are prepared for their careers due to their college, they often donate back to their university and improve the institution for future generations. When we look at some successful Fisk graduates, such as Ida B. Wells, Kim Whitley, and Judith Jamison, they have ties that reflect the university. The more successors Fisk can make, the more appealing the school will be to future generations as well. Everyone here attends Fisk. We chose Fisk for our specific reasons, but I am guaranteed that one of those reasons was because we believe that Fisk would do a good job in preparing us for our future careers. Fisk should be proud that this is how the institution is perceived with high standards. Finished.
Resolve. Fisk should above all seek to prepare students for careers. Prepare to make ready for use or consideration. Career, an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. Fisk should not prepare students for their careers because the world and workforce is constantly changing, which means four-year colleges and universities aren't really necessary anymore. People cannot prepare themselves for their careers because the workforce is upgrading to a more technical aspect. We have things like Khan Academy and Pivot that allows people to learn collegiate-like courses without earning a degree. As the world changes and jobs modernize, are Fiskites prepared for that change? What role do Fiskites and other universities stand to prepare for the workforce that changes continuously? It is not even possible to prepare for it is not possible to prepare people for something that does not exist yet. Instead, Fish should prepare students on skills such as critical thinking, analytical and quantitative skills, communicating, leadership, time management, and problem solving skills. As we grow older in life, we work with new people and adapt to new situations. Problems will occur, and how we solve these problems will help develop our character. You cannot teach problem solving. You have to learn from it. You have to learn from it as the problem is occurring. This will be able to help you and others reach work or personal goals. Our staff and faculty members at the University of Fisk makes a lot of money. Money that should be donated towards the students and the university to build better and efficient programs and better advisors to prepare students. Fisk should talk to our alumni to help construct a better university for our students. Their investment in us will change the university all around. My opponent says that Fisk University has internships that secure students with jobs immediately after graduation. But what if that job changes? What if Fisk prepared that student for something the internship no longer does? Will that student have to re-enroll in college or work in the field that they did not study for, which will make their college experience pointless? These are things that we have to take into consideration. Gretchen Phrase of PBS says that 85% of the jobs that today's students will do in 2030 don't exist yet. The Institute for the Future has predicted. That might seem like a high number to reach in only 12 years, but think about the now mainstream careers that did not exist just a handful of years ago. Things like drone operator, social media manager, app developer, and cloud computing engineer, among others. There's often a disconnect between what you learned in college and what you do in the workforce. In 2013, a Federal Reserve researcher found that 27% of college graduates were working in a job that matched their college major. 38% were in jobs that did not require a college degree at all. This is not to say that college degrees and the knowledge that comes with them are not worth earning, but by 2020, 65% of all jobs will require at least some education beyond high school degrees, according to Georgetown University Center of Education on the Workforce. That's true despite several companies, including Google and Apple, that recently announced that they will no longer require a degree. Thank you.
Although Fisk, as well as other colleges, strive to prepare you for a career eventually, I do not believe that this is their main focus. If university's main focus was solely to prepare you for your career, the first 2 years you will not take courses that are not needed. For example, in Fisk's case, new student orientation or intro to computing. If I am wanting to be a nurse, I do not need to know how to code. This is taking up time I could be using towards the course that my career actually requires. Some colleges do not even offer necessary courses and pathways for certain careers. For instance, Fisk doesn't have a nursing program. If preparing students for their desired career was a main priority, I feel like programs, courses, and or pathways would be presented for all possible careers. Instead, those who desire to be a nurse or in a profession that requires courses that the university does not offer have to take extra steps to become one. A journal article on the Chronicle states that about 60% of executives believe colleges only prepare students for entry-level positions. That's three-fifths of professionals saying that colleges do not sufficiently prepare students to succeed in careers long-term. Another study conducted by Milgram surveyed college students to see if they felt school prepared them for work in the real world. Only 13% of students that surveyed believe that college prepared them for careers, and only 40% of students surveyed at McGraw-Hill Education believe the same. Author Sandera Carey says, "Never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, and the other helps you make a life." She says she believes school teach book smart knowledge, but the real world requires wisdom. As Trail stated, the world is constantly evolving. What we may be preparing for as freshmen may not even be the same requirements that they once had when we graduate. There are also some things that no book can teach us that would be a necessity to any career in everyday life. According to the articles on Stephen Gods, in 2011, 1.5 million That's 53.6 of college graduates under 25 were out of work after graduation, and the other 47 who were employed had jobs that require less than a 4-year degree. Universities should offer courses with more hands-on work to further prepare students for their career. When asked if she felt if universities prepare students for their career, Erica Duffy, CEO of the company PathGather, responds, "No. That's why the university of the 21st century is really the workplace. Businesses need to take up that mantle for their own self-interest and the greater good." Elaborating that if students got more experience doing the work themselves and not just getting book smart, that they will be more prepared. You can know all the knowledge about something and not fully know how to do it if you never actually done it yourself. So it would be more effective if you started getting hands-on experience early.
To my negative opening speaker, you said that if Fisk University was focusing solely on preparing us for our specific career paths, they wouldn't allow us to take quote-unquote dummy courses or courses which do not relate to our major. Yes, while it's true that every course we take is not directly related to our major, this doesn't mean that they cannot help us along our career path. In the world we live in today, it is true, if we truly wish to be successful, it's not good enough to just simply focus on one thing. More and more college students are taking courses which do not directly relate to their major in order to expand their knowledge so that they can reach different target markets both in and out of their desired major. You specified that classes such as Intro to Computing are more or less useless to someone who desires to become a nurse. However, I would say to you that the world is becoming more technological as we speak. For example, some nurses today are required to use computers and databases to store basic information of their patients. Does this not warrant some level of computer proficiency? At the rate the world is developing, soon everyone in the workforce will have to have some knowledge of computers and information systems, regardless of their profession if they do not already. Even more so now than ever, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, employers are looking for employees who are well-rounded and can adapt to any situation. Take, for instance, if you decide to work as a tour guide or a chef, and one of your customers spoke Spanish. Wouldn't that Spanish class that has no relation to your major come in handy if you had taken it at Fisk? In the words of Sir Francis Bacon, knowledge is power. You never know when those extra dummy courses may come in handy. We also stated that if Fisk University was solely focused on preparing students for their desired career path, they would have classes that pertain to every major. However, I would tell you that the reality is that not every university has the funds or the resources to teach classes for every single career path. However, I would assume that while you were looking through your desired school choices, you would have done your research to ensure that the school in question has all the necessary classes you need to get started in your career. If not, why choose to attend a school that doesn't offer what you need? Does it not fall on you as an adult or an individual to make decisions which benefit your interests? Otherwise, why make them? Even in the case that you have some sort of financial problems or other circumstances would prevent you from going to your desired university, and you decide to go on you decide to go to the school that offers the most scholarship. Fisk, like most universities, may not have the courses directly suited to your major, but more often than not, they have advisors and resources that can guide you along the right path. Again, bringing up the example of a nurse. If you look through the catalog of courses they provide, you would see that we have joint programs with other schools such as Meharry that do offer the necessary resources for you to become a nurse while still technically being a Fisk student.
Okay, so we'll have a closing arguments from the negative rebuttal and affirmative rebuttal.
For my closing, in closing, Fisk should focus on preparing its students on their skills, assets, and their potential. The world changes and we have no control over that. But how we adapt to change is what makes us a better person. As students spend their 4 years at the university, they should help students find their place in this world as strong black kings and queens as we make a huge transitions from students to doctors, psychologists, teachers, musicians, congressmen, and congresswomen, and so on. Thank you.
In the words of Derek Bach, universities are institutions run by amateurs to train professionals. Fisk, being one of the top-ranked HBCUs in the country, has produced a number of outstanding individuals who have excelled in their professions and have changed the course of history as we know it. For example, some of our most influential alumni include the famous W.E.B. Du Bois, music executive Rich Dollars, civil rights leader John Lewis, poet, activist, and educator Nikki Giovanni, and many more. The goal of the university has always been the same: to not only educate its students, but to put them in positions to change not only the country, but the world as we know it. Thank you.